The time's nearly here, folks. I hope you're all doing well. The winter months are settling in. The hot cocoa weather is settling in up here in the US in the Northeast. And we just turned the clocks back, so I get to get an extra hour of sleep, which is pretty nice. But the big reason that I'm recording this video today is to talk about one of the highlights of my year, one of my favorite things to do every year. And a lot of you probably already know what that's gonna be, what I'm gonna say. That's Extra Life. Extra Life Game Day is nearly here. If you don't know what Extra Life is, it's a fundraising program that started in 2008 that raises money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals around the country. And if you don't know what the Children's Miracle Network is, that's a nonprofit that raises money for local charitable care and research. It provides care for kids who need it the most, whose families can't afford it. 100% of everything that's donated goes straight into the local community to provide that care and help out the community. So yeah, Extra Life's a fundraising program that raises money for those hospitals. 17 years ago, the program started to honor the life of a young girl named Victoria Edmond. She'd been diagnosed with leukemia, and the sarcastic gamer community donated games and gifts so that she'd have something to do to make her lengthy hospital stays more bearable. And she even shared those gifts and games with other kids in the hospital because she got so many of them. The events evolved over time. Initially, it just raised money for the Texas Children's Cancer Center, and then it expanded out over the years to provide charitable care for hospitals all around the world. Since 2008, they've raised over $132 million in that time, and it's become a staple for companies like Wizards of the Coast, who produce Magic the Gathering under Hasbro, and ArenaNet, who makes Guild Wars 2, and also just gamers like myself just trying to do their part. For a lot of Extra Lifers, the essence of the event is game day, which traditionally has been a 24-hour marathon gaming session to raise money for our local children's hospitals. Think of it kind of like the telethons of Eld, but for gaming to raise awareness and money. For the last 9 years, I've been officially throwing my hat in and raising money to help my local community, and this year I'm raising money for Hasbro Children's Hospital in Providence, Rhode Island. So I said the events evolved over time, both in how individuals run it and I guess now how Extra Life themselves see it. So this year they decided to really emphasize that by turning game day into game week. They've always been really vocal that game day has really been when Extra Lifers consider the best time, the best day to focus their fundraising efforts, but you can raise money year round, and it really should just be a time that's convenient for you that you want to rally your own community around. Now they've announced it as game week to really drive that point home. So any day from November 8th to the 15th is really when they're focusing all of their major fundraising efforts. I've been yapping a lot about the program, but what's my plan for it? In the years past, I fired up my stream over at twitch.tv/DrewFire, and in my earlier years, I've done the full 24-hour marathon and then eventually stretched that out a little bit further because usually it'd be the weekend that the clocks would wind back for daylight savings, and I always felt a little off if I started my marathon at, say, like 8 a.m. and then I went to 7 a.m. the next day, even though that was a full 24 hours. So it always felt weird to me. Steadily, I kind of stretched this out, and in year 7, I decided to make the whole thing a weekend. I kind of like to see the event as something like a cozy sleepover, taking myself back to that childhood time where we would all just lock in and play a lot of games all night long. And part of it is also because I'm getting older, and I kind of need that sleep break to go the whole weekend. All right, so what is my actual plan for the stream? In years past, I've had a bunch of funny or neat moments as I've played through various games. Sometimes I did a variety, sometimes it was trying to take on a specific challenge like a Final Fantasy XIV deep dungeon with friends. Sometimes it was multiplayer games in the evening. In the past few years, I put a big emphasis on retro stuff to emphasize that cozy sleepover vibe from my childhood, and this year I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. This year, I'm playing a game that's not really considered retro these days. It's pretty old by this point, and it's been released and re-released and re-released and re-released, and it's been released on a variety of platforms over the years. And if you guessed Skyrim, not Doom, Skyrim though, you'd be right. The plan is to get lost in a world of heavily modded Skyrim, to take a little weekend vacation, if you will, to that world and go on an adventure. I say heavily modded because while the game is old, it's certainly not gonna look or feel old by the time I get to it on game day weekend. For starters, just about every visual in the game is going to be completely revamped. Combat is not going to feel anything like the original Skyrim, being more actiony. If you're familiar with the game, you know that you kind of swing and things fall over. We're going to be adding new gameplay systems, that make an adventure out of it and really up the discovery and progression, as I'll be changing every single skill tree. I don't even know the specifics of my build yet. The plan is to go through the main story, but the real fun is going to be kind of just seeing where the adventure takes us. With everything I'm modding into the game, Skyrim's kind of infamous for crashing a lot, and this is the main plan, but there's going to be some kind of plan B if the game becomes too unstable along the journey. I'll also be publishing the full list of mods that I'm using for anybody who wants to replicate the same kind of game feel in their own copy of the game. So in the past few years, I've done this donation incentive where for every $50 that I raised, I eat one of those jelly beans that's kind of gross, maybe, but also it might be fine. And I really like that incentive because it kind of keeps the energy up and it makes things kind of funny. So I see no reason to change that, except I want to change it a little bit. A little bit. For every donation that's at least $5, I'm going to eat one of those beans. And I've got a new little contraption here that's actually going to help figure out wherever the fates will take me with that. So here's the plan. Saturday, November 8th at 6 a.m. East Coast US time over at twitch.tv/TrueFire, the adventure begins. A weekend getaway to Skyrim, going all the way to 6 a.m. on November 10th. If you'd like to donate to support kids in need at Hasbro Children's Hospital, you can find the link in the description of this video or somewhere around here. There'll be the text. I'll put it at some point. It'll be fun. It'll be great. I think this is going to be a fun, cozy adventure raising money for a good cause, and I look forward to seeing you there. So until next time, love and peace.